So, what does it really take for a fashion brand to cut through the noise and actually win in 2026? Well, it might look a lot like this. Today, we're going to tear down and deconstruct a brand called Design Delight Studio, and in the process, uncover this kind of three-part blueprint that I think is going to be huge. It's all about combining super specific audiences, trust you can actually prove, and some really smart tech. Let's get right into it.
And that's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? The market is just so saturated. There are endless options online, so how does any brand, new or old, even get noticed? We think there's a formula here, a specific mix of strategies that creates a real defensible advantage. And that's exactly what we're going to break down.
All right, here's the game plan. First, we'll introduce our case study, Design Delight Studio. Then, we're going to dive deep into the three pillars of their success: how they target these hyper-niche customers, how they build trust you can actually verify, and the slick, high-tech experience they've created. And then, we'll put it all together to see how it gives them their killer competitive edge.
Okay, so let's meet the brand at the heart of all this, Design Delight Studio. Now, if you just glance at their site, you'll see they sell sustainable streetwear. Okay, cool. But when you look closer, what they're really doing is running a masterclass in building a modern brand from the ground up. And first, just to get a sense of scale here, this is not some small little boutique operation. We're talking about a catalog of over 400 products. Now, a catalog that big is a huge challenge, right? How do you market all that stuff without just being generic and trying to be everything to everyone? Well, that leads us directly to their first strategic pillar. So how do they manage that huge catalog? By doing the exact opposite of what most brands would do. They don't try to appeal to everybody. Instead, they go after what we're calling the hyper-niche customer. This is the first, and honestly, probably the most important part of their entire strategy. For example, check this out. They have an entire collection, a whole vibe, dedicated to the modern Western fan. Think classic cowboy style, but reimagined with this sustainable streetwear edge. You see? They're not just selling you a t-shirt, they're selling you a specific identity. And then, in a totally different universe, they've built out this massive collection just for gamers. And I'm not talking about one or two cheesy designs. This is a deep, authentic dive into gamer culture, speaking their language on their terms through apparel. They also have this really cool, tough, durable line made for people in the trades, and they call it Blue Collar Pride. This is all about celebrating a group that mainstream fashion pretty much ignores, with gear that's actually built for their lifestyle. And finally, of course, they tap into that incredibly powerful force, nostalgia. They have a whole collection that is pure 90s and early 2000s aesthetic, aimed squarely at the millennials and Gen Z who are driving that whole retro revival. And the numbers here, they really prove that this is serious. I mean, look at this. We're not talking about a couple of shirts. Over 200 items for gamers, nearly 200 for the Cowboy Renaissance collection. It's so clear this isn't just a gimmick. They are building entire product worlds for each of these distinct communities. But you know, it's not enough to just pick a niche. These communities are passionate, and they can spot a fake from a mile away. They demand authenticity. And that brings us to the second pillar of this whole blueprint, building trust that is absolutely verifiable. They put this promise front and center on their website. It is so bold and so direct. In a world where every brand slaps the word sustainable on their products, these guys draw a line in the sand. They're basically saying, we're going to prove every single thing we claim. And here's the proof. They don't just use fluffy words like eco-friendly. Nope. They go out and earn these major, internationally recognized certifications. You've got GOTS for organic textiles, PETA-approved vegan, fair trade for ethical labor. Every single one of these logos is a promise they can back up. This is what real trust looks like in 2026. So we've got the right products for the right communities, and we've got that hardcore, verifiable trust. The third and final pillar is the technology that holds it all together, this seamless tech layer that just makes the whole shopping experience better. And here's a perfect example. Their AI try-on feature. I mean, what's the biggest headache with shopping for clothes online? It's that nagging question, how is this actually going to fit me? Well, they tackled that problem head-on with a virtual fitting room. It cuts down on returns and just makes you way more confident to click that buy button. It's tech with a real, clear purpose. And you can see their commitment to tech is fundamental. They're totally transparent about using AI, not just for cool customer features, but even in the nuts and bolts of building their platform. This sends a huge signal to their customers, especially those gamer and retro tech niches, that this is a modern, forward-thinking brand that gets it.
Okay, so we've looked at the three core pillars one by one. Now, let's put it all together. How do these different strategies actually combine to create this powerful, unified competitive edge that really makes them stand out? This right here is the heart of the blueprint. See, any brand could maybe do one of these things, but the real magic happens when you bring all three together. Step 1, find your people, your passionate niche. Step 2, earn their trust with undeniable third-party proof. And step 3, use smart tech to give them a flawless experience. That combination, that's their secret weapon.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty big question. Is this brand just a one-off, a cool outlier, or are we looking at the new blueprint for retail, period? This targeted, trustworthy, and tech-savvy approach might not just be a way to compete anymore. It might just be the only way to win. Let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.